we got all our basement windows replaced. There's one there. There's one there. There's one on the other side. And there was one more window that I had to custom order, and because it was a weird size, and it was the one in the computer room, and I'm going to show you what it looks like now, but I want to make that a surprise because it came out really good. So I had to custom order a window because they don't stock anything that's 35 inches by was it 13 inches high. So I was going to put in a fixed position window, and so that it doesn't open. There's no need for it to open, and I just wanted it simple and functional. So I got a call from Lowe's. Now I ordered the window back in, what was it, I want to say either April or May, and here we are in July, and late July actually. I call Lowe's and I'm like, where's my window? And they said, well, they're backed up still, as you well know. And I said, yes, I know. Well, they said the window will be in, you should have it by January. And I said, I tell you what, I'll raise your yeah. I basically told them I'm just going to go ahead and change of plans. So, change of plans. That's right. Yep. Bricks, my friends. I bricked it over. Now, this was not a very tough decision, but it is a tough little brick wall. The thing is, eventually we're going to put a patio here, and I got to thinking, I really don't want a window there if I'm going to put in a concrete patio. Now, the concrete patio will be poured. I'm going to have this dug down, and the patio will be poured below the windowsill, where the windowsill would be, because I don't want this area or this section to be, able to be, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want it to retain water, because bricks have a slight weakness, and that is water intrusion is highly possible. So the way these bricks and mortar work together, they're not the most watertight combination, which is why brick foundations are very unpopular, because mortar tends to draw in and release water. So just to be on the safe side, when I do have the patio put in, this is all going to have to be graded down, so it's going to cost me a fucking fortune, but whatever. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rent an little mini excavator, and I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to grade it all myself. I'm actually kind of looking forward to that. A couple $1,000, I can rent a machine and have a little bit of fun with it. Why not, But anyway, so that's the deal. We decided against putting the window in for two reasons. Future plans and durability's sake, but also, it was just, I'm not going to get it in time, and I can't go another winter with that leaky ass window. I didn't film the removal of the window. I was hoping to. I just didn't have. I just figured the hell with it. I just did it all in one day. I ripped out the old window. Did most of it with my bare hands. I mean, the window was gone. The entire bottom sill was completely rotted, so it wasn't much. There wasn't much left to it. How water wasn't getting in the basement, I am not really sure how. There was stuff living in it. I think I evicted an entire multi-generational family of all sorts of things. So it was just bad news bears. It had to go. So this is my very first attempt at ever bricking anything up. I've never worked with bricks before, so you know the joints don't line up perfectly, mainly because I didn't cut the end pieces. In order to make everything fit, I had to, you know, cut some bricks up, and I did it, well, I didn't have any real brick cutting skills, so I used a chisel and a hammer, and some of them broke in ways I wasn't planning on, and, you know, it's a whole big thing. But this is the finished product. So above the window, I have pressure-treated lumber to fill in that gap that a brick can't quite make it through. You can actually see that if you look up inside there. There we go. Little pressure-treated wood, little spray foam. Not going to go anywhere. That's going to last a good long time. To my surprise, there was no sill damage. The sill actually was in remarkably good condition. So, thank God for that. Alright, step into my office. So I got this fan going to help cure the masonry sealer that I've been applied to the surface of the inside of the brick. So, what this stuff is, this is it's actually crown seal. It's designed for repairing cracked chimney crowns, but it works really well for keeping moisture at bay. The thing about bricks is they are porous. That's just what they are. They are a porous. Well, the brick's not as much as the mortar. The mortar is extremely porous, and you know, moisture can wick through. As we've actually proven. So this has actually been here for about 5 days, and so we're only sealing the inside right now. In about a month or two, we'll seal the outside with a brick. We'll seal the outside once the mortar has time to fully cure. But I have to move forward with finishing off the inside, so I wanted to get this at least done. But what it really is it's a rubberized paint. I think it might be latex based, but it remains flexible and bonds pretty well. So moisture won't be able to easily weep through to the inside anymore. So right here, this is 1-inch foam, and this is a 4x8 sheet that I cut up into pieces that would fit in my car. And what we're going to do is we're going to double it up to a 2-inch thickness, and that will keep thermal losses at bay. What is my cat doing now? What's back there? He found something. He is really on the case. Whatever it is, it's good as dead. It's not a mouse. We don't really have mice down here. I have a mouse trap over there, but it's never caught anything. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to use this. This is nice styrofoam insulation. I'm going to glue 2 pieces together, and we're going to cut it to fit so that we have a nice insulated block. This is the lumber I'm going to use for building the box. So I'm going to actually pre-build the shelving unit and box and everything. And we're going to later slide it in. And then we're going to use a pneumatic nail gun, a little brad gun, to nail it to the studs. But I got these. I got 2 of these. These are basically recessed canless lights. These are 3 1/4 inch in diameter. Or 3-inch in diameter. And these, you just cut the hole in the wood, and you see these spring-loaded doohickeys. So what you're supposed to do is open these up, slide it in the hole, and they actually snap shut against the wood and keep it in place. So that's a pretty neat idea. This is the driver for the light. It's an LED driver. So we don't need a 4-inch can, or I think it's like a 4-inch, can or any other conduit, not conduit, but box, because we have limited clearance in that space. So these can be mounted in an area, like I'm going to put these up on top of the sill, I think. We're going to just slide them up in there. And you can put your standard, I think these are, what size are those? 1 inch maybe? Or a 3/4 inch? Yeah, they're, I believe they're technically 3/4 inch wire guide strap things. What the hell are those things called? You know what I'm talking about. These guys. Yeah, these things. We need to put 2 of those, 1 in each. Bada boom, bada bing. Alright, so this is going to be a fun, easy little project. We'll take a look at the end result once I finish. But I wanted to start at where we're going to start the video. There's the other one. Now what's cool about these is you can adjust the color temperature on them very easily. There's a slide switch, and that just tucks up inside wherever they're mounted, so you can forget that's even there. Only we know that's there, and if we decide to change the color temperature later on, we can do that. And these should just unplug so we can get it in the hole. Bada boom, bada bing. These open. These are actually hinged. So there's your light driver. Put 2 of those, 1 on each side. And they're going to go on with the light switch in the room. And give the room a little bit more brightness. As for what we're going to use the shelf for, well, I'll find something to put there. Maybe some of my model cars, maybe, whatever. But the back of it is going to be, see, remember that backsplash I did in the kitchen? Well, here's the rest of it. I have just enough, I think, to give the back of that, We're going to glue this right to the styrofoam. Using construction adhesive, it'll just adhere right to the styrofoam panels. And that's going to go in first. Then, once we have our box built, we'll slide it in with the trim already installed. Slide it in and tack it in with a couple of nails. Boom. Done. And I cannot wait to see what this looks like. It's going to be fun. Oreo. Time to come in. Sorry. Usually listens to me. This is a little taco truck. Alright, I made a little bit of progress today. So I've got the foam insulation, that 1 inch foam. I've got that installed, and I actually decided to keep it at just 1 inch of insulation. That 1 inch of insulation gives us an R value of 5. Now, 5 may not seem like much, but when you factor in the fact that the window, if let's say I put a window here, we would have an R value, assuming double glazed, we would have an R value of roughly 2 to 3, maybe. That's about what this window is good for. So we actually have a better R value of, it's actually 5.8, because the brick wall itself has a 0.8 R value, 0.80. So better insulated than a window. So anyway, the foam is actually held in place, or actually it's sealed in with spray foam, minimal expansion spray foam for windows and doors. In addition, I didn't do this on camera, but I also added a layer of bituathane, which is a tar-like coating. It comes in rolls. Use it for roofing and flashing and such. And you just, it's self-adhesive. It sticks right on. So we have 2 means of moisture or water intrusion prevention. We have the masonry sealer, which is painted on in two layers, which is all you need. And on top of that, we have that nice thick bituathane Grace Ice and Water Shield is a product you might be familiar with. That's what it is. I put that over the whole thing. So water is not getting in here, nor is any amount of moisture unless it comes in through the wall itself. So I'm pretty confident that that's going to really help with vapor or water intrusion, moisture intrusion. So we've got the leftover material from my my kitchen backsplash project that's glued with Loctite construction adhesive to the styrofoam. That's not going anywhere. Got the wire here. This has to be routed up. So what I'm working on right now is I've actually built the entire box, trim and all, is ready to slide right in. But we have to do some finish work to that. Let's take a look at how that's coming along. Now, as you all know, my finished carpentry skills leave a bit to be desired. It is what it is, but it looks okay. I mean, let's face it, this is a basement window brick over project. This is not something that's going to be in the living room. So it's not perfect, but it'll do the job. It'll do. What was that from? Shrek? No, I don't remember. It'll do, pig. Oh, that was Babe, I think, or Charlotte's Web. Anyway, not to get too far into the weeds. So it's all nailed together. I used brad nails on my pneumatic nailer, and yeah, it's pretty decent for what it is. Got some wood filler in all the holes where the nails were, so I've got to go back and sand all this smooth. We're going to use the sander to kind of fix this step here, blend it in, make it look pretty. Got the light modules. Those I'm starting to look at wiring those up. Now these are pretty nice little units. They're sealed. They have little rubber gaskets on them. And these are pretty easy to install. You just let me try to put the camera down and see if I can demonstrate that. So we're going to pretend that this sucker is mounted. I'm going to position the camera ever so gently. So the wire is going to hang down here. There's going to be a wire coming from the module, and we're going to connect it once this is all installed into the wall. We're going to feed this up. First, we've got to make sure we set our color temperature first. Fish that up into the ceiling, and then we're going to pull these spring tabs inward. Of course, doing this something of an acrobat act. And then you just throw it in the hole. Make sure that rubber seal is flush and not crooked or kinked or anything. And it just sucks it right in to the hole like that. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. To get it down, you just pull on it. And that's it. Couldn't be simpler. I do wish that we had one light I wish I could control both with one light module. I'm sure it could be done, but I'm not going to modify anything. I should just leave it the way it is. Alright, we've got about 2 coats of, I'm using a cabinet enamel. Valspar cabinet and furniture. This is good stuff. It is very scratch resistant. I use it on all the trim down, like all the trim boards you see. Were painted with that stuff, and the stuff washes off real nice. It's scratch resistant. It's pretty durable stuff, but I'm using it on this. This is 2 coats. It's going to take about 1 more coat, I think, to do the whole job. And then we'll be able to put it in. As far as attaching it to the wall, I'm going to I think I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to do a couple of just a couple finished nails. I'm probably going to drive them in the sides. No, you know what? I'm going to drive them in through the molding, and that's all we're going to do for attachment. So if I drive the nails in through the trim into the studs, it'll be removable. It'll be easier to remove it for future repairs, if you will, than if I were to nail it in through the sides, because it'll be a lot less work to get those nails out, I think. You can disagree with me all you want. But actually, I believe a lot of recessed boxes like this are installed that way. Just making that up in my head. Sounded good when I thought of it, so. Alright, so we're going to let this dry about another hour, maybe 2, and I'll put another coat on. Then we're going to let it sit overnight before we mount it. And all the wiring is in place. So I've got my source wire coming in here. I've nailed it to the bottom of the sill there so it's nice and out of the way. So as we're positioning this cabinet in place, we're going to run these wires down into the proper holes. This is our crossover wire. The connectors in those boxes, so these connectors in here are all push fit. So we have to just strip the wires, and there's enough room here for a pass-through. So there's 2 on each block that we can use. So our source and pass-through for one of them. These don't come with the cable connector cable stays. They don't come with those. You have to buy those. So I use these plastic ones. They just press them in. They're a one-time use. You can use them once and then they're done. But I figure these will be a little bit easier to work with. And you just push the wire in and it crimps it in place. So wouldn't use that on a breaker box, but for this application, I think they'll be fine. We left one unknocked out. Suitable for damp locations. Cool. I'm game. Anyway, so yeah, that's what these are. They protect our alcohol from evaporating. I want to make a quick note. This stuff here, this Loctite Power Grab in this container is the greatest thing since sliced ham. It is the best stuff. It is so easy to work with these. I've got one that was open for a while. I opened it maybe 2 months ago, and it was still good after using it. Basically, this is an aerosol can where it says it's pressurized somehow, and this has your Loctite Power Grab, which is usually available in a caulking tube, but in a convenient, fun to use packaging. I love this stuff. I wish they would give me a little kickback for this, but they won't do that. But Loctite Power Grab in a pressurized tube. It's what's nice about this is I can just store this in in a drawer somewhere, and it's there when I need it. I just grab it. I don't need my caulking gun. It comes out with full force. I'm not going to demonstrate it because it's really messy, but just take my word for it. This stuff works really well. I got to take that. So I'm in the process of nailing in that big beautiful box I built, and all these nails are bending. They're bending. Every single one is bending. And I figured out why. These nails are made in a country that doesn't exist anymore. Son of a bitch. So it should have been a straightforward, easy peasy, beautiful job turned into a knucking fightmare. This stuff, this is metal from the nails. It gets in your hands. It gets all over everything. I'm going to have to fill in all these holes. That nail bent, and I'm not taking it out. I'm just going to try to patch over it. But those nails are trash. They're not even... They're just not. Whatever they're supposed to be, they're not. Alright, it's time to wire in the lights. So we're going to put in the little ballast unit things. They're not really ballast. They're actually electronic controllers for the LEDs. Okay, so I got my circuit shut off. Here's our source power. Got a ground, hot, neutral. Oh, I gotta get my wire stripper. Let's strip back the wire. Alright. So yeah, when the maybe tomorrow, when I'm ready to finish this job, what I'll do is lightly sand the face of the trim, and then we'll have a you know what I'm saying. All right, yeah, we'll give it a finish coat on the trim, and that should do her pretty good. So I'm gonna run this into here. You can't see what I'm doing. I'm left-handed. I apologize for that. So my hand's all in the way. Okay. Push that in there. Oh, I got the wrong one. I got the wrong box. Alright, that's no big deal. Just hit this knockout here. Remove the knockout from the box. So these just push right in. These are it's a low power or low draw circuit, so this shouldn't be a big deal. Just having these. I don't like push to connect simply because they're just not. They spread the load across a very small surface area, so I just personally don't like them. But that's more of a me problem than a you problem. But because it's just an LED light, not a lot of power, not a lot of draw. Okay. All right, so I got my push to connector, push fit thingy-majob. Just pop those in like that. We'll take our other wire, stuff it in. Okay. Make sure we go black to black, white to white, ground to ground, and we should be in good shape. Where's my white wire? There's my white wire. I want to route that up on top here. Ground over there. Stuff that in the ground. There we are. There we go. Put it in all the way. Stuff it in the box. Like that. And white to white. This is a the futuristic way of electric, it seems. Everything's all pushed to fit. It's like the equivalent of the electrical equivalent of shark bite plumbing, which is also a really bad idea. But okay, snap the box shut, and we're gonna just stuff it up into the cavity somehow. Yeah, it should fit up in that cavity pretty easily. Oh, but I want the get up in there. There it goes. There, it's all safe and sound up where nobody can get. Okay, now it's time for a smoke test. Here we go. Ooh, not bad. They're very bright. Now you can adjust the color temperature. That's pretty cool. I think 3500K is my jam. 34, 35. So they're both the same temperature. It's a very nice gonna just light up this little box. I think it'll be very nice, nice looking when it's all said and done. We can't really mount these in until the paint has a chance to really cure. I don't want the seal to really stick to the paint. That's what's going to happen if I do it now. So there you go. That's pretty nice. And yeah, you can go all the way up to 9300K, I think. No, I'm sorry, 5000K. That's a bit too cool. That's a bit too warm. Yeah, I said it'd say 4,000, 35. Yeah, 3,500K. These are quite nice. I like the way they're made. Pretty decent, easy to install, easy to remove, which is a very important aspect. But well, tomorrow when I come home from work, I'll be able to finish this guy up. Maybe clean up the stuff here. I'll get my my orbital sander on it, and we'll just right over the face, and then we'll give it another coat of paint, maybe two. Now we unveil the finished product. Look at that. I love it. I actually, before I went to work this morning, I came in here and I did a little bit of I sanded the wood filler. I just took my orbital sander and I sanded a few spots, and then I gave it a quick coat of paint. I did that all this morning before I went to work, and that's all pretty much dry. I'm going to give it one more coat of paint on the face, and that's it. All of this stuff is going to go in there, but the paint has not fully cured. This stuff, you know, before you start putting stuff on this paint, you want to give it about a day or two to fully cure. This paint is very fickle like that. Lights came out nice, beautiful. In fact, I love how this works. This is just perfect. It wasn't terribly expensive. I mean, believe it or not, this whole project probably cost more than the window did. The bricks weren't expensive, but I had to buy a couple of bags of mortar, 10-pounder bags. I didn't buy the big 80-pounder. I just did the 10-pound bags. So I took maybe 4 or 5 of those. So I think about 40 or 50 pounds of mortar in that window. I was surprised at how little that mortar stretched. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't get a lot of use out of it. The bricks were, they were like 79 cents a piece, and there's really, I think about 30 bricks. Roughly 30 bricks, 79 cents a piece, and I had bricks left over. The lights were $20 a pop. No, wait. Were they? Yeah, the lights were about $20 to $24 a piece. So, about $50 in lights there. So, the wiring I actually used only leftover wire from another project to get from that point to that point, and that point to that point. The backsplash, that is leftover material from the kitchen. The 2-inch molding I already had. It was bought for another project and did not get used. The wood for the box, I think I had most of that. I had to buy one 1 by 10 by 6. I had to buy one of those. Didn't have enough wood, but that was leftover wood from this window. The now behind that, of course, as I mentioned earlier, we have a layer of 1-inch foam. I had to buy an entire 4x8 sheet to get that 1-inch foam. An entire sheet had to die for that one little project. That was $20, $17. The bituminous, the Grace weather shield, the whatever the frick you call it. I had that. That was already, I already had that. And the waterproofing, the masonry waterproofer, I actually had that as well. That is left over from the chimney crown work that I did 2 years ago. And it's still good. So, yeah, lots of good stuff there. And that was expensive. That was like $150 for that little pail of waterproofer. So I'm glad I'm getting my use out of it. But yeah, so that really, I mean, you add all that up. I'm not adding it up. You can do it if you want to. It's a little bit of money if you're going to start from scratch and didn't have all that stuff on hand. The paint I already had. That was from another product. That was actually from this room. I used it for all, I bought it for all the trim in this room. So that was paint that I already had on hand. Anyway, and the nails. The Yugoslavian nails came with the house. And they're garbage. I now know that. Well, I better get this video uploaded, and you guys can pick it apart and harass me. Tell me all the stuff I did wrong, and I welcome you to do that. That's what you guys do best. Anyway, I gotta get this video uploaded and done. So thank you all for joining in and watching, and like and subscribe. You're not going to win a prize. You'll just get to see some really cool content.